Hey, welcome. Thank you for joining me. It is Seth Chatting with Friends here. Thank you, Kylie, for making that sign. And she gone. But I'm here chatting with my friends. I'll let them introduce themselves to you. I'll start with Dan.
Dan Blanco. And
Awesome. Dan, welcome. And
Mark Scanlon.
Mark Scanlon. Both these guys are part of our church. They serve volunteering at our church, and they are my friends. Are you going to admit that today?
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I did not pay them to say that. They are my friends. These are guys that I enjoy hanging out with. I enjoy talking with, and I thought you might be interested to hear a conversation between us. Dan and Mark, like I said, both serve at the church, but we also enjoy something else together. We all enjoy serving at the church, but we all also enjoy sushi.
Sushi. Yum.
Sushi is something we all share in common. For me personally, sushi was not something that I thought I would ever enjoy. I didn't try sushi for the first time until I was 31 years old. And Pastor Matt was like, you got to try it. You just got to try it. You got to see it. You got to experience it. You can't say you don't like it until you try it. And so at 31, I became an adult and I tried new food. And I fell in love. Dan, tell me a little bit about your experience with sushi.
Well, the first time I tried sushi, I was 16, and I absolutely hated it. I had a Boston roll, and I think it was the combination of the smoked salmon and the cream cheese that I just didn't like. Um, so
Your
then the
taste
next
buds
time,
weren't ready.
right, exactly. So the next time I had it was after the military. So I was about probably 23, 25, somewhere around there.
Okay.
And that's when I loved it.
Okay, so your taste buds matured. At first, you didn't like it. Now you do like it. You served in the military. In the military, I'm assuming you had to try a bunch of different foods that you didn't necessarily think you would like.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So the
Whether I
military helped
liked them or
broaden
not,
your
I had
taste
to eat
buds.
it.
Mark, what about you? What was your experience with sushi?
Well, I mean, I'm the opposite of Dan. I've always liked it,
Yeah.
although I can't tell you what age that I originally started eating it. But I mean, I've just always loved it and I love everything about it. The sashimi gets me a little bit. I can't quite go that route, but with some of the rolls and stuff like that, I just can't stop eating it. I had some the other day.
So what's the difference between sushi and sushimi?
Well, sashimi is going to give you just like I don't know, Dan, help me out,
Piece
three
piece of
inch by
fish.
2 inch piece of fish that's raw
Yeah, with no rice.
with no rice,
Just the
and it's
fish.
not a roll.
Just the fish.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I know that we enjoy going to a place here in Joliet called Sushi Ya.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Sushi.
love going there. They have this amazing scallop tempura, or as we like to
Uh,
call them, fish
fish
donuts.
donuts.
Fish.
We found a donut that Levi doesn't like,
Yep.
but we all really like fish donuts, scallop tempura. We love the different types of sushi rolls there. What we really enjoy is the time together. I think that's the thing, is that we've all found something we really like. It's something for me that I don't enjoy with my wife, because my wife does not enjoy any type of seafood or sushi. So sushi time is my you too, Dan, you
Me
too.
too.
So
Yes. Me
sushi time is
three.
my time with the guys, and so that's a time for us. And I love that we get to gather usually about once a month. Obviously, with this whole coronavirus thing going on, we haven't been able to do that. But typically, about once a month, one of you guys will reach out and say, "Hey, is it a sushi day?"
Yeah.
And then we get to spend some time talking, hanging out, and enjoying building our friendship, building our bonds, and then talking about church stuff, talking about life stuff, just encouraging one another. And so I think probably the biggest thing I would say out of all of that for those that are watching is um, obviously you can find some sort of food to get together with. I think you can probably think of some foods that you enjoy with other people, with your friends, but it always seems like a good time to get together and bring food. I really am looking forward to getting back to Sushi Ya with you guys, because they have this all you can eat lunch, and wow, it is amazing. So
Yep.
if you have not tried sushi yet, you want to try sushi, these are the guys to get you connected. They'll help you
That's
start
right.
slow, right? And kind of get you into it a little bit to find out
Yep.
what you think, what you might like about it. Um, I know that's what Matt did for me. He kind of is like, okay, you got to start here, try this, and then you can start to broaden your horizons a little bit. And so
Yep.
man, I tell you, it's something phenomenal. Just
Yeah.
try something different. You'll be all right. Well, I appreciate when you guys reach out and you invite us. I know a lot of times we don't get to say yes based on different things happening within the schedules, but I love that we do get that time together. And I just wanted to dive a little bit into how you guys serve at the church, because you both serve in different ways, but you have somewhat similar stories of how you started getting involved with the church and started serving. And if my memory serves me correct, Dan, I believe you started coming to church about a year before we moved into the new building. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
All right. So you've been in the church about almost 3 years now. I'll let you tell the story. I will not forget the time you came up to me and started talking to me about wanting to get involved. And so can you tell us a little bit about what your story was, what that looked like for you?
Yeah. So I was attending a different church before we moved into Plainfield area. And at that church, I was doing security. I was helping wherever I could, security and safety. And then when we moved into Plainfield, I had a friend that was going to Crossroads, and we went out to dinner one day or lunch one day. And he said, "Hey, what church are you going to?" And I'm like, I told him, and he's like, "Wow, that's a long ways. Have you ever tried, you know, Crossroads? It's not too far away, and it's basically the same type of format and everything else." I'm like, "No." So he gave me the directions, and next thing I know, I showed up there. And that very day, I felt compelled to. Um, I stopped Matt right after service, and I said, I noticed there's not, at least I can't see much of a safety security presence. I'm like, I did this at the church I used to attend, and I'd really love to help if you guys are interested in doing something like that. And he's like, I got just the person for you, and that's when he introduced me to Seth. So yeah.
Yeah, and that was just such perfect timing. I think the way that God works, it's just fun to watch that sometimes because we had just previously had been talking about increasing our security, and we've been talking with our elder team and with our staff about how do we increase our safety for all the people who come into church so that they don't have to worry about all these different things. But we have a team of people uh, who will work together to ensure the safety and security of our building and of our people. And it was just great. And I remember we got to go and we had lunch, you, me, and Jake. We went to lunch together. We started talking. I was like, thank you, God, because this is something we had been praying about for a while and talking about. And I was like, okay, this is the right person. And I know a lot of times people will see you, they'll see you there at church with a radio wearing black shirt, and they don't always know exactly what you're doing. But
I don't always know that.
what they do know is that they can come to church, that there are different security measures for when you're going into the children's area, when you're going wherever you go, that there are people, and you have assembled a team of people, medical team and safety team, who are always around trying to help out and provide a safe, secure environment so people can come to church and not ever have to think about those things.
Yeah.
And if they do think about those things, they know this is the guy to go talk to.
That's
Like, come talk to
exactly.
Dan, he'll get you hooked up.
That's exactly. I felt. I really feel that God pushed me in this direction. I feel He got me into the church that I was at to train me in the way I needed to, and then He sent me to Crossroads, and that's really my drive. Is I want to make sure that Crossroads is as safe as possible, and nobody has to worry about anything. There's not going to be anything that happens on my watch, basically.
Well,
So
we appreciate everything that you do, not just eating sushi with me and the guys and the people on staff and with Mark, but we appreciate all you do to help provide a safe and secure environment at Crossroads so people can just freely come and worship and enjoy their worship experience without any thoughts or concerns about any of that kind of stuff. So Mark, I know you started coming a little bit before we actually made the transition, actually pretty shortly before we made the transition to the building here on Essington Road. But tell us a little bit about what you do and how you came about to getting involved at the church.
All right. Well, kind of very similar, to Dan. We were going to a different church, actually in Northwest Indiana. So we had quite a long commute,
Yeah.
and being involved in some things there, like stage design and the filming. There's times we went out there 3-4 days a week, and
Wow.
in that traffic, well, sometimes it's an hour and a half drive each way. Is kind of murderous. So
Wow.
it wore us down. It really did. So kind of took a little bit of a break from all that, just to kind of recharge, and knew we needed to stay connected. And church we went to out there, I'll tell you, even though, Dan didn't tell us the name of his church, I'll tell you the name of my church because it's part of the story. The church we used to go to was Crossroads Community Church.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, CCC. So imagine that. And when I was ready to start looking for a church out here, we actually just Googled Christian Church in Joliet, and Crossroads Christian Church was the first one to pop up.
Oh, cool.
And so it was kind of like Crossroads, maybe this is something there. I don't know.
Yeah.
And so I drove by, just to kind of peek my head in and, see what was going on. And I met Stephanie that day.
Okay.
And told her my story and what was going on with us and what we were interested in doing. And, she said, definitely come back. And then they said they were getting ready to move. And I'm like, well, where are you getting ready to move to? And they said, well, we're going to move on the corner of Essington and Caton Farm. And I'm like, wait a minute. We live on the corner of Essington and Caton Farm. So we could actually walk to church, ride our bikes. We live nice and close. So that was kind of like another sign that, maybe this is where we need to be.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, the first Sunday we decided to come, we were instantly hooked. I mean, Jake met us at the front door, and we got to meet him, and he was very welcoming, and we fell in love with Matt right away and with the worship service. But we sat back and, we enjoyed church for a couple months.
Yeah.
And then, talking to my wife, Linda, I told her it's time to fill out a connect and respond card. And, let's see if these people want what we have to offer, if they need help. It was very, very welcomed. We dove right in and, started with stage design. A lot of people don't know that, but I basically steered that boat for the first year. Cool. At church. If there was a stage design that changed, it was usually me, my wife, and son that did it.
Okay.
And then, of course, we got into the video stuff, which we were doing at the old church as well. I was used to handing off the SD card to somebody after the filming and let them edit it, and I didn't do any of the editing. And when I was talking to Mick for the first time, he told me that's what he needed help with the most. So since then, we've gotten geared up with the right programs and the right computer here at my house, and just been spending the last year and a half just trying to get as good as Mick. And, watching a lot of tutorials these days. Let me tell you, there's with all this downtime. I mean, I'm still working every day, but coming home, it's nice to plop down in front of the computer and watch some tutorials and just keep my skills, sharpened with with the programs and stuff.
Yeah. And that's one thing I love about both of your stories. Sounds very similar to my story, my personal story. My wife and I, we started coming to church about 12 years ago, and we at first just stepped back and said, hey, we're just going to come in, just kind of see what this church is all about. And after a couple months, we okay, we can't sit back anymore. And, God's given us talents, he's given us gifts, and he's given us ability. So we just want to jump in and serve however we can serve, and what does that look like? And so we started getting involved with the worship team. I started getting involved with the youth group, and it was just really cool to see how God could use us. My wife is more of a behind the scenes kind of person. And so she jumped in behind the scenes, and a lot of people don't know what she does or how she does it when she served, but she's such a huge help to me, especially behind the scenes and at different events. You'll see her taking over just registration stuff and trying to help make sure that things run smoothly. And that's what I love about you guys, is that you just jumped in and said, here's what I've got. What can I do? How can I learn? How can I grow? And you both have grown the ministry beyond what it was. And it's been awesome to see how you get involved, how you get other people involved. And, Mark, I know you were talking about editing wasn't something you really had any experience with. I know it's one thing to shoot a video. It's a whole nother thing to edit the video.
Yeah.
And so it's been really cool to see you jump into that and learning and growing in your experience with that. So I know I can say thank you on behalf of the church, on behalf of Mick. I know he has really appreciated all your help because, as you said, we were talking a little earlier, you said editing, it takes up a lot of time.
We all do it for the same reason. We're there to serve, right? And, to have you say thank you, I mean, I definitely appreciate that. It's not the reason why I do it. But I tell you, there's a huge payoff, and the huge payoff is when you're sitting in church and you hear somebody behind you that awes at a video, or somebody that's moved that they started crying, or maybe somebody will say, oh my gosh, how did they do that?
Right.
And little did they know that they're sitting behind a dude that created that, and that's really where the payoff is that.
Well, now they might know if they're watching today. Now they might know they got to come incognito now. But I know, again, Dan, to you too, I appreciate it. I know I've had different people come up to me at times and say, I just want to say thank you. Like, I know I can come here and I can worship, and I know if I see somebody that looks like maybe like a little scary, like, I know you guys are there, you're watching, you're aware, like, I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. And so I thank you guys. Thank you for joining me today on Seth Chatting with Friends, here again with Dan and Mark, both of my friends. We enjoy sushi together, and ultimately we enjoy serving together. We enjoy serving God. We enjoy serving the church. And I just want to say thank you again for joining me in this conversation, and thank you for serving the church, serving the Lord with your gifts and abilities. And we just want to encourage anybody, if you're interested in any of those areas, talk to these guys. They would love to help get you connected. If you're just curious about it, if you're curious about sushi, you're curious about serving in the church, talk to these guys. They would love to talk with you.
Well, you can't have one without the other, though. That's the problem, right?
Thank you again, guys. I appreciate you so much.